I talk to a spirit. She comes in my dreams.
What is the path to awakening supposed to look like? To feel like? How do you know if you are on it? We ask these very sacred and sometimes vulnerable questions to many different women from all walks of life. A conversation that needs to be shared and heard. I'm Jo Hendy.
I'm Amanda Parker.
And welcome to the Girl Awakening podcast.
But then she does a sneaky push the button and we're like already hyped up. So anyway, it's been a fun morning.
Welcome to our listeners. We have a return guest, which we love.
Absolutely. Yeah. I feel like, it's kind of like that legacy of sisterhood, where you're all connected.
Yes.
Just by nature of how you plug in through one episode and then it's an ongoing thread.
Absolutely. The other thing I was going to say on that too, not that we're we love all the social media and all that because it does help a business move and grow and whatever else, but it's also so wonderful to watch the women that we've had on through social media.
Yes. Yeah.
And they're just stomping ground. They're just like going places.
And actually this lady, her book's on our website.
Yes.
Under our Tools for Awakening, which we're going to remind you of that, people, because there's so much gold in there. So there will be more gold in the podcast after this morning.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So welcome, Kate Reardon. It's so
Oh
lovely.
my God, I'm so excited. I'm just like sitting here like a little kid. Don't get too crazy, just settle down.
Go crazy.
Yes. You have permission to go crazy.
All right.
Yeah.
Buckle in, people.
Yeah. Oh my God. So we're just going to literally kind of just hand it over. And just, in a way, just let us know, in Kate's world, what's been happening in the last, because we were just talking about, it's been nearly 3 years.
Yeah, I remember when you said 3 years, I was like, that's right. I remember my milk coming in halfway through our last episode.
Wow.
Yes.
And I'm pretty sure I didn't have leaky boobs, but after we got off, I'm like, oh my God, are my boobs leaking? And the girl's like, no, you're good. I'm like, oh my God.
The energy really moves
so
a lot.
beautiful.
It does.
Wow.
Yeah. I always say to people, the hardest question to answer is, how are you? And what's happening? Because how can you even wrap words around it? You know what I mean? It's like, and I remember once years ago in Bali, and this guy that I was friends with who was an absolute tweaker, like he was just quite mad, but in the best kind of a way.
Yeah.
And I remember being at this party, and this is like 12 years ago, and I said to him, how are you? Just because it rolled off the tongue, and it's that natural thing you say, and he just stared at me. And there was this really like long pause, and he was looking straight into my eyes, and then he said, I am everything. And I was like, that's literally the best answer to that question I've ever heard in my life. And I kind of feel like that now. There's just been so much going on, going in and through and in all the dimensions of consciousness that I don't even really know how to summarize or answer that question, because I am everything.
And it is happening so fast, isn't it?
Yes.
So you're never the same person each day.
No. And it's really interesting, and this is such a girly thing, but I don't even know how to dress myself anymore.
Yeah.
Do you know, like I go into my wardrobe and I'm like, I'm not her. I'm like, I need clothes for me, but they're just not here. Yeah. It's so funny, but that's where I'm actually noticing it the most, is when I'm trying to dress myself.
I've never thought of that until you just said that, but that's so true.
Yeah.
That's so true. You can, I have a wardrobe full of beautiful things, and I just go,
Me too.
Yeah.
I'm just like, I'm not really feeling that, because I have to really feel the clothes. Like I have to really feel like I'm matched in the energy with what I'm wearing.
Yeah.
And so that's where I'm feeling it the most, actually, which sounds
Makes
so
sense.
trivial, but every
I
day
think-
I'm like, how am I dressing now? Like, what do I wear? Is this acceptable?
So people on YouTube, listeners on podcasts, you will see that Kate is wearing the most gorgeous
Yeah,
red,
red.
and these earrings that are like
Oh,
shaman, like
yeah,
Indian,
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
like, so you dress fine. For today, you're bringing the energy, the creativity, and some
Yeah.
excitement. But I think everyone will be
Yeah.
looking at their wardrobe a bit differently if they haven't actually already kind of.
Well, I think it's such a beautiful thing and a privilege to get to choose what you wear and to be able to put some intention behind it and say, this is the projection that I want to give out into the world. Like, your clothes actually mean so much.
Yeah.
But also, I think, you know, we're all going through these times where the transformation is happening rapidly, it's happening multidimensionally, and it's happening at a pace that we have never felt before. And there's been these kind of, you know, big, I guess, quantum leaps and jumps in humanity before, but our generation, we're really experiencing this huge step in a direction that we don't know what awaits us. And so we're really at this in-between threshold. And I'm feeling it so personally, you know, I'm not the woman that I was, but I also feel like I'm not fully embodied in this new version of me that's coming through. I'm getting like hints and little whispers and kind of trying on different things, but I know I'm not in there yet.
Yeah.
I'm in this big hallway of that in-between space
Yeah.
and that threshold. And that's, it's an exciting place to be, but it's actually really hard too, because in that space, there's so much uncertainty and there's so much uncomfortability. And we just don't know. And so what happens in my mind, and I'm sure you can all relate, is that the mind just starts going, well, what the fuck is
Yeah.
going on?
Yeah.
And it tries to grasp and look for certainty and comfortability. And, you know, sometimes we can default back into those old patterns or habits that feel familiar to us, even though they're not healthy or expansive. But I just can't do that anymore.
Yeah.
So I'm just kind of sitting in this space. Like, I feel like I'm just kind of bobbing around in the ocean, just going, I don't know, there's another wave coming. I'm sure a boat's going to come pick me up soon.
Oh, look, it's a whale.
Yeah. I'll ride a whale for a little bit. But I'm just kind of hanging out in the ocean, just seeing what's the day's going to bring, really.
And that's a mastery as well, to do that, because it's that feeling of, am I doing enough to make this happen? What I'm supposed to be doing happening? Like, but that's also the receiving space. That's also the creative space. It's so much in that space if we allow ourselves to bob around and land where we're meant to land, if at all.
Yeah, exactly. I think, you know, we try and fill the void with everything. And whether that's like quote unquote healthy stuff as well, like I've got to listen to this other podcast, or I've got to learn this new biohacking, or I've got to like eat more fucking protein, or whatever it is, you know. And but I think for me at the moment, the biggest medicine has just been to create stillness. And I do not go into it just open-ended, loving, whimsical, goddess-like. I fucking hate it, actually. Am I allowed to swear?
Of course you fucking can.
You know, it's so hard, especially when you're in that more cortisol picture and you're in that flight or fight and you're go, 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 and those dopamine hits are coming in, and to just be silent feels exactly like torture. But without that stillness, nothing gets to mature, nothing gets to really integrate or embody. And so if we're just doing all the things all the time, then we're not actually evolving. We're just busy.
So much gold in what you just said. Everything you just said just then, it's like, we have it so the opposite. Where we always have to be doing. And we always have to be on the treadmill or doing this or doing that, and you know, sitting and meditating in that space where the creativity lives and all of that beauty lives and the knowingness lives is just not enough.
No, I know. I remember, because I was really stuck in that busy for so long, because the thing is, it's a societal thing that we confuse busy equals important. Or
and
stressed.
money too.
Yeah.
You know, money's very hooked in there too.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is like
exactly. Yeah. Or, you know, the glorification of being busy, being stressed, running around, you know, like a lunatic. I remember years ago when I was working in Thailand, and I was really in this place of still relying on external validation. And I wasn't aware of this. This was all in my subconscious. But my self-esteem was okay, but my deep self-worth was low. Like it was like I just constantly thought I wasn't good enough. So I was working so hard, 14-hour days, just belting myself out, just give. And the more tired I became, the more busy I became, and the more stressed I became, the more praise and validation I got. I was like, oh my God, I'm so busy. Oh, you're amazing. You're Wonder Woman. Look at you. Keep going. Oh, you're flying there. You're doing this. You're doing that. And underneath, I'm like drowning. And so it was this really kind of thing that I had to deeply unravel and unpack within myself, because, it was like I just kept getting this external validation of the busier you are, the better person
you're achieving.
You are, you're achieving, you're going, you're getting all the, and I was doing some really cool stuff. But it wasn't until years later that I had to be like, actually, just settle down a little bit. And I remember one of my girlfriends said to me when Ruby, my eldest, was born, she's like, Kate, has Ruby ever just seen you sit down and read a book? And I remember it was such a shock to me, because I was like, oh my, like I don't think she has on holidays. But like during the day, and just, I don't think she's ever seen me just do nothing. And so then it was a big like course correction thing. But I also feel the busyness of what we're going through now is different. It's not so much about what we're doing. It's about what we have to process through our bodies. All that energetic data, all of the internal wounds that are being stirred up and poked at, all the external changes and shifting and altering energies that are coming through. So it feels very busy, but it's a different busy, but it's still tending to ourselves in that same way of creating space. And solitude is the biggest one for me, and just really allowing myself to find some kind of center, whatever that looks like. And this is kind of just back to what you do on a human level.
On a worldly level. In the world.
You the process that you do, or and I'm sure that's all evolving too, as well as you are. It has to, doesn't it? Really. Is that you have this amazing ability to go in and find those places where there's stuckness or wounding or trauma or whatever in somebody's body, and be able to clear that out through different modalities. And are you still doing this? Is this something that you're still offering? Because I know you stopped for a while because you got really busy, didn't you? Like with other things that were amazing. And you stopped doing the one-on-ones, but you're back doing the one-on-ones now? I'm back doing one-on-ones. I'm absolutely loving it, because I think that transformative space is so needed, and it's so absolutely crucial. But to be super transparent and honest, I'm kind of sick of the healing. And what I mean by that, self-responsibility. People aren't taking responsibility.
Well, it's also like, I think that I'm from this generation where we were kind of, if you entered into the healing world on any level, right, on any kind of level, we were kind of taught to look under every rock. So go through the thought processes and the behaviors and what's happening in your body and the trauma programs and everything. And people have become so obsessed with figuring stuff out, with fixing themselves, that and I get this image every time I talk about it. We're all looking at our belly buttons and no one's looking out. Meanwhile, the fucking world is on fire. And it's chaos, and there's humans killing each other and bombing each other, and we don't even know how much longer we've got on this planet. So the work I'm doing now has shifted a bit, because I was like, I mean, I can take people on a trauma journey, I can help them do this, I can help them do that. That's going to help that one person. But I look at it in terms of legacy. I'm 43 now. I'm like, maybe I'll get another 40 years if I'm lucky, hopefully another 50.
Yeah.
How am I going to like really make a big impact? Because even though the one-on-ones are so sacred to me, and I feel so genuinely honored when I'm invited into someone's healing space, I'm also like, what am I going to do to shift the needle forward on a bigger scale? And sometimes it's like, well, you know what? I'm really sorry that that person said that to you when you were 7.
Yeah.
Fucking get over it.
Yeah.
Oh, I freaking love that.
Go out and be kind to a human. Like, donate some money. Like, clean up your home. Like, get your relationship. Like, just get on with it. You know what I mean? And so I'm sitting at this cross section, of yes, we need to go in and do the internal work, but we can't get stuck there.
Yeah, I freaking love what you're saying, because I think I've always been that way.
Yeah.
But I've been told that I'm too blunt, or that I'm too this, or too, or just, you know, be a little bit more, which, there
less
are
direct,
moments.
don't be so direct.
Don't be so direct. But I've also been like that with myself, you know, like my hubby he's sensitive, and he loves to, you know, talk about the energies and this and that, and I'm like,
loves to have a little tinker in the
he
quantum.
Does. He does. And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? You know, just do this, bang, it's done.
Yeah.
And he's like, but that's not the way that I process. I said, well, you can if you want to, you know. But we all, in saying that, we all do have our different ways. Like, just with your work, I just wanted to share too that I've actually had a session with Kate around 3 years ago. Oh, no longer.
Well,
longer. 4 years, maybe 5 years.
Yes.
God, a long time ago.
Wow.
And
time flies when you unhook yourself.
Yeah.
When your wings aren't clipped anymore.
Yes. And look, being in the work and doing what we do, we've got the wonderful opportunity of sitting with many healers. And I hadn't met Kate before she came to do a podcast with Trev. Yeah. And I literally looked at her and went, I love her.
I feel it was very mutual.
She didn't even open her mouth. I just went, I love her. And then when she left, I said to Trev, do you think that she'd mentor me? And I've never been one to have a mentor either. That's like, who needs a mentor? What's a mentor, you know? And then I got cheeky and stole her number out of my husband's phone.
Yes, that's right. Oh my God.
And I messaged her and said,
she wasn't stalking you.
No.
Being really cheeky, but are you doing any one-on-ones? And she said, actually, I'm not, but I will for you. And I was like, oh. So I drove to the Sunshine Coast, and I had the most, until this day, the most incredible session. So yes, when you say you're not, you know, mine wasn't that. I don't even know what it was, but it was like 3 hours or something of. It was like this little, looking at you now, you're this little petite girl, and it was like, if I closed my eyes, it was the biggest, most powerful warrior person healing me that was coming through and cleansing my body of, you know, trauma. I don't really even like that word, but trauma and healing, and oh God, it was so amazing, literally life-changing. And some incredible things happened only 24 hours after that session that, you know, I won't share here, but were incredibly, I don't even know what the word is.
Kind of illustrated the divine timing, the beautiful quantum connection,
the power
of divine timing.
Yes, thank you. The power of quantum healing.
Yeah. Oh my God, look at
Yeah.
my body. I'm like,
like it was incredible. So, you know, just for our listeners, she is next level, next level amazing.
So what you're also sharing is like what you're saying, Kate, in that moving from the one-on-ones and deeply honouring that process, but also acknowledging that there's the micro-macro, there's like this responsibility that we all have to also in healing ourselves and to be going within, which is, you know, every second person being information coming through is about going within, the powers within, and we all know that, like our heart is the greatest generator
Yeah.
there is of everything. But where's our responsibility to this space that we are?
Yeah. I think, you know, the people that, because I've been so fortunate to meet so many incredible humans, like just amazing from all walks of life, you know, and some people like really global world leaders that I've had the fortunate,
if you want to know who, go to the first podcast with Kate 3 years ago and you'll find out.
Oh, there's been a lot, a lot more since then.
Sure.
But also the people that I have seen who are really in their power, and I'm not talking global power, although they're in spaces of that as well, but really in their heart, really solid in their sovereignty, really alive in their being. They all have a bigger purpose, and they know what they're capable of, and that to me is so magnetic and so alive and so incredible. And you know, I don't think we wake up in the mornings and go, you know what, I'm just really gonna fuck things up for myself today. You know, we're not like that.
No.
You know, but trauma or old wounds or things we haven't worked through keeps us in this space of lack and limitation, and we don't get to move forward.
And victim,
we don't get to move forward or expand or really activate when we're in that constricted energetic space. And so instead of looking at all these wounds and thinking, okay, we've got to fix this, then this, now I look at it and go, okay, you're in a place of lack or constriction or limited being. Let's get you out of that, and then let's put you into the world, and let's see what change you can make for the greater good.
It's like what I'm hearing too is like, you know, it's time to move on from that old story that you've been telling yourself, you know, and let's create a new story that's bigger, that's you know, that has many people in it, or many, whatever it is, that's for the greater good.
And also it's just like, let's be decent human beings. You don't have to go out and do all this grandiose things, but just like ask the barista who makes you coffee how he's going. You know, or pick up someone else's trash. You know, it's just like these little things.
She's doing that every time we walk.
Oh, you and I would take hours to walk a beach.
And saying hello to everyone.
I know.
Good morning. It's so beautiful.
It is beautiful, but I think that's what we're losing. You know, we're losing that sense of togetherness and just that human connection. And the tech stuff hasn't really come in yet. Like, we're at the forefront of it. I feel like we're all dipping our toe in. But when that fully hits, we're going to really have to brace ourselves to really hold our humanity in a way that we have never had to before, because we've never been in this construct where all of these things around us completely take us out of our bodies. And so it's an interesting kind of cross section that we're in. But I feel like if someone is really in their power, whatever that means for them on a multi-dimensional level, you know, really connected to their bellies, looking after their bodies, sleeping well, eating well, all the basic foundational stuff. Good relationships, having fun, playful joy, but then also really connected to those bigger potential purpose-driven, you know, alignments that happen more on that cosmic soul level. And they have all of that, which is available to everyone, and they're moving through as our world completely alters. I think that they're going to be fine. It's the ones that are disconnected, that are addicted, that you know, to the dopamine hits, that aren't sure of really who they are or what they hold inside themselves. They're the ones that are really going to suffer.
Because what I'm hearing people thinking then is like, well, I want to be one of those people that's here to help make the world a good place. Where do I start? And like, so with your one-on-ones, but also like you do retreats and that kind of space, which is like, you know, the bigger collective and that group energy. Where do people start by going, well, okay, I feel like I'm ready to expand or move into that space, what do I do?
My, I guess, protocol and the space that I've held and my retreats, you have to start by letting go of everything you're not.
And what does that mean? Can you explain that to us and our listeners? What does letting go of everything you're not mean?
So much.
So when I graduated from uni as a naturopath and a herbalist and a nutritionist, I tried to fit into the mold of what that looked like in Australia as a practitioner. And for me, even though it was in more of the complementary medicine, I mean, it's so much more mainstream now, but this was, nearly 20 years ago, it still felt restrictive for me. And it still felt, I was like, I remember this guy coming in one day and I was like, I can tell him to eat, all the alkalizing stuff and do this and do that, but until he energetically shifts this old stuff, he's not going to get well. And so for me, it just felt limited. Yeah. And then
beautifully said.
I had to also really look at who we are. And who we are is multidimensional beings. We're not just the body and this anatomical bones and muscles, and we're not just these crazy ruminating thoughts that fly through our minds, thank God.
Yeah.
We'll think to that.
Yeah. We've got this big, beautiful soul and big, beautiful energy, and all of those makes up who we are. And so I really needed to look at everything through this multidimensional lens. And so when I started talking about this, I was in my mid to late 20s, very green, but I knew there had to be something else, but I wasn't really quite sure. And then I discovered detoxing and fasting. And for me, the thing is that you've got to let go of the load first, because you can't fly if you're carrying heavy stuff. You just can't. If you're getting on a train to your dreams, you don't want to be carrying baggage.
Yeah.
You just want to get on that train and put your feet up and enjoy the ride.
So this is when people talk about density and stuff like that? Is this what we're talking about too?
Well, I look at it again from this very multidimensional lens. So it has to start with the body.
Yeah.
You can do all the quantum leaping and drink all the plant medicine and elevate yourself. But if you're not feeding your body properly, or if you are
still yelling at the postie,
still yelling at the postie, not sleeping, smoking ciggies, going through the Macca's drive-through for brekkie, that's not okay. You're not going to get to where you're going to go because of this neglect of the body. So on that detox level, letting go of the stuff that's too heavy, it's actually all the toxic things. All the toxic things that we use on our bodies, in our bodies, in our homes. I mean, you guys know this better than anyone. It's like, who are you, what products are you actually using in and on your body and in and around your home? And then like all the sprays and the pesticides, the herbicides and all of that too. It's about lightening that load so that your system isn't completely bombarded full of all these chemicals that it needs to process.
And there's
which
also
is huge.
So huge, but in that space too, that's also the victim thing where people can have that opportunity to make excuse, but there's chemicals all around me. What's the use kind of thing? But every little thing that you do makes a difference. Everything you do makes a difference.
Exactly. And we're in we live in a lot of privilege, especially here in Australia. So we're in conscious choice about who we give our money to and what we're spending, and so I think that, and a lot of people neglect the body. I see a lot of healers and psychologists and counselors and social workers and all kinds of people, but that work from like a very spiritual realm, and even like shamans and things like that, and they're so tapped into that realm. But when you look at the body and their physical vessels here, they're not in the best shape that they could be. And I'm not talking about being thin or being toned or anything like that. I'm just talking about this respect and care and tenderness and compassion for the body. And then if we look at toxins from that mind level, it's like, well, self-limiting beliefs and old programs and stories you're telling yourself, and all those old thoughts that keep you in lack or limitation. Sometimes I'll say to my clients, they'll say something, you know, oh, I'm thinking this and this and this, and I'm like, well, whose voice is that inside your head? Like, what influences are in there that we need to clear out, you know, and really working it from that level of mind and mind consciousness and that emotional, mental awareness. It's really kind of going in, and then of course on that spiritual level as well. So any psychic debris, any energetic stuff that we may be stuck in or holding. So I think the first thing always is just letting go of the load and then figuring out the next step once that's passed. Because once that's passed as well, everything becomes clearer, and it's a constant thing. I was
going to say this is where, you know, we talk about wanting to be evolved or wanting to be spiritual or wanting to be this or that.
Or powerful.
Taking
back my power. All the things so,
like I'm in a calm, you know, space right now, and I feel really good, and I'm being sarcastic, but it's like
I was thinking,
I was wondering with it.
How do I get that?
But you know, it's funny because as I'm listening to you, and it's like, you know, that's the challenge. And do we really want to step up to the challenge? And a lot of people don't. You know, they want to stay in this place. And I've just been watching, and I'm going through a phase, and I'll call it a phase, but it's a big phase of learning about Jesus and him walking the earth, and he's got his disciples and all this, and he's been teaching them the whole time, and they're learning so much about themselves, and I suppose they're clearing out the stuff as they're following him, and then it gets to the time where he needs them to step up, and they're all falling, you know, by the wayside, because it's now becoming challenging for them to walk with him, and he's pushing them. And most of the time I've been in tears because I can feel the confronting that. You know, do I really, I love when I'm with him when he heals people. But when he's over here doing this, I don't know whether I like that. Well, that's what evolving and being the better person is about. You know, yes, there's good in it, but there's also challenging parts. And we talked about the taking responsibility part that a lot of us don't want to sit in. But that's what true evolving spirituality is, isn't it? It's not all roses and
it's definitely not. And I think the problem is that we've been kind of delivered this poison from this health and wellness spiritual world that to be happy and calm and peaceful and everything is the goal. And actually what I believe, not that there's a goal, but what I would love to really say that I've got one day is to be able to hold it all. And just to be there and just hold it all, whatever it is. And also I think what I see in a lot of my clients is that we're so comfortable these days. We are so insanely comfortable. We can, you know, we can adjust the temperature in a room. We don't even have to go to the supermarket anymore if we don't want to. Our cars are driving themselves. We don't even have to get up and change the CD or the record. We're just like, Siri, play this song or what, you know. And I don't think that that's good for us spiritually because we're not comfortable. If we're not comfortable, it's almost like it triggers this alarm in our body that I'm not safe. When actually that's just not true. You're uncomfortable and unsafe are two very different things. But somehow those wires get crossed. And so what I see a lot of people doing when they're feeling uncertain or uncomfortable or unclear, or, you know, they're just a little bit discombobulated, they think that something's wrong. And actually, there's nothing wrong. And so we have to formulate our own relationship to uncomfortability and uncertainty. And it's almost like we have to reteach ourselves or unlearn and then relearn that even when it's a little bit wobbly, it doesn't mean that anything's bad or that anything's, going to happen to us or that we're not healing. It's just that it's a little bit wobbly at the moment. And when I explain that to people, they're like, oh yeah, it's actually, whew. And then you just come back into the nervous system, the body, it regulates, and you can go on with your life. But when we're so used to all of this kind of cushioning around us, and even, so many of us when we were children, I think we're all from that generation where you weren't allowed to be sad or you weren't allowed to cry, or it's just like happy, come on now, come on, you'll be right, let's, you'll be fine, it's okay. And so, yeah, we don't even know how to really process those emotions. But when I'm feeling wobbly now, I almost have to do this little check-in, and it's like, am I safe? Yeah, I'm actually safe. Yeah. This is really hard to process. Yeah. It's fucking uncomfortable. Yeah. I don't like it and I don't want to be in this space, but I'm okay. Yeah. And when, years before, my knee-jerk reaction would be, I've got to book in a session, I've got to heal something, I've got to get a tarot reading, I've got to do a clearing, I've got to make up some, herbs. But now I'm just like, let's just let it sit for 24 hours and just see how you feel tomorrow. Because if we don't allow those spaces for ourselves, we don't get the muscle flex, and we just become so oversensitive, and then we don't cope with anything.
That's true. It's so true. Yeah. It goes back to what we talked about at the very beginning, the busyness, the busy world. Yeah. It's being able to really stop in those moments and go, okay, why is this happening for me? Yeah. Not to me. Yeah. And, do I just need to be still so it can come in and do whatever it needs to do? Yeah. And not be afraid of these. Like, change is going to happen. And now, I think it's exciting. Yeah. Where I would be the one that would be freaking out. Yes. And now I'm like, okay, this is happening. Don't really like it, but it's happening for me. Why is it happening for me? Yeah, exactly. There's a shift, there's a change that's going to occur, and it's going to be better for me. Yeah. I'm going to learn something from it. Yeah, and it's just how you hold yourself, like you said, in those moments. I know I'm in a wobble right now. Like, there's so many spinning plates going on in my life, so many tabs open in my brain. A lot, like I would say my stress levels are probably at about a 9 out of 10, which is unusual. It's just like where I am at the moment. But I'm just tending to myself differently. And so, just these simple things of making sure I'm going to bed earlier. Yeah. And just being really diligent about grounding and really clear on my boundaries. And just also, I think, we're so exposed to so much crap. Yes. Yeah. And we have to process all that energetic data. It has to go through our brain and then filter all through and then run itself through our body before.
And it's constantly doing that, isn't it?
It's constant. So when I get a little bit wobbly, I'm like, okay, I'm off socials. I mean, it might be for a week, it might be for 3 days, but I just turn all that data as much as I can down to recalibrate, because it doesn't take us long to recalibrate. We're such adaptive, powerful humans, and our biology and our anatomy is miraculous that, it's just insane. But we have to create the condition where we can thrive, and that's our responsibility.
I think we've forgotten that a lot too now, just listening to you say, pop the phone down, or, we've forgotten that we can still heal in those quiet times, or that without the phone, where it's we're getting told now, there'll be something on there that you need that will help or whatever, or support, and that's not. It's like that's where the kind of line in the sand is drawn, isn't it now? Because we're back to the AI thing. We're getting drawn in so badly, so big time. It's loud. It's it's going to help us. It's going to make things easier, but it's actually not. It's actually it creates a sense of urgency. And if we're rushing, or if we're feeling a sense of urgency, that spikes our cortisol. So it's not even like being on the phone, it's actually the sense of urgency that spikes the cortisol in our brain and activates that nervous system response. And so then we go into this wired state.
And we live in that wired state.
Yeah.
And that living in there is not sustainable. We're not built to live in there.
Yeah.
And so even they did this incredible study. Well, it wasn't incredible. The results were scary, but even a pinging of a message can elevate cortisol now. And so, and that alarm, just that shock. And I feel it. Like my phone rung on the way here when I was driving here, and I very rarely talk on the phone these days, but it was the school.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh my, and I went into complete panic.
Yeah.
And of course it was, one of your daughters left their hat at home or something ridiculous like that. But I just revved up my whole system, switched on that nervous system, elevated everything, because I believed that there was a sense of danger. There was no danger at all. Yeah. There was just a thought or a precipice of a thought or in a belief that there might be some. And so I think that's one of the biggest things right now, like talking about everything that we're talking about. It's like we need to regulate and balance our nervous systems constantly in order to be in this place of power and groundedness and just to be fully present as well. Otherwise you're always got an antenna out and you're never with the people in the actual room with you. And that's really sad.
I think that's the thing too, isn't it? Because it's like that, the constantly, like it feels like you're going to be switched on all the time, but it's going back to what you said before about creating that space and forming a relationship with that process of the space and what comes through and the filtering of the thoughts and the responses, so that when the phone rings or whatever, you've got that bit of bounce in your system. There's the resilience there to go, it's the school. I'm safe. I don't need, my children are safe. I don't need to expect anything bad. Wonder what this will be. Yeah. It's a different response to the, school, urgent, like there's bounce in your system, and that's the reward of the constantliness and the mindfulness of being in the present moment, isn't it? Which is the constantness. Rather than the back or the forward, present, past time.
100%. I know. When I teach this, because I talk it to exactly what you just said on retreats. Amazing. And what I say to people is they need to find their shock absorbers. So whatever those shock absorbers are for us, they need to be in place. And so for me, it's, all the typical things like nature and music and yoga and saunas and sleep and, all those things. When they're not in place, that bounce back, it's just like metal on metal. But if you have those shock absorbers in your life, and they have to speak to the multidimensionality of us, so they have to include mind, body and spirit. If those shock absorbers are in place, exactly what you just said, Amanda, it's like, it's okay. You don't go into full alarm, full panic mode. What's wrong?
Yeah. I want to talk a little bit about, because I feel like this is being amped up at the moment too, is the thoughts. The thoughts that are coming in, the negative thoughts more than anything. How do you navigate through those? And I mean, we just talked about that a little bit, but I know for me it's like, lately I feel like a thought will come in and I'm gone. I'm down the path and that person's dead.
Yes.
That's an extreme measure, but
I get you.
The cascade.
The cascade of thoughts seems to be amped up at the moment. Is that something that is like, that's out there happening quantumly by others, maybe negative energies? I don't know. We like to call them in our home negative energy fields that are coming in. And is it you or is it not you? And separating out. How do you navigate through that?
I don't try and figure out what it is. That's the first thing, because it could be that. It could be your cortisol levels. It could be your lack of sleep. It could be your blood sugars. It could be psychic debris that you've picked up from someone and their thought field is merged with yours. It could be your ancestors. Like there's so many elements to it. And so I remember once I was listening to Carolyn Mace when she came to Australia years ago.
I love her.
I love her so much. And I had the fortune, like, still one of the greatest things, to have lunch with her.
Oh, God. I just want to touch you.
Oh, no. She is so good.
Wow.
She was just in person. She's like this tiny, tiny little lady. But she said, because my husband, Pat, was diagnosed with cancer when I was 34 weeks pregnant with Ruby, my eldest.
Yeah.
And so, it was after that. So Ruby must have been a baby. And anyway, we were talking about that, and she was like, if you try and figure out the why, he got it. You're just on a seek and destroy mission.
Makes sense.
You know, and she's like, imagine you're in a little rowboat, you're never going to get to the island. It could have been trauma, it could have been chemical induced, it could have been like all the variables. And now we have even more.
Yes, yeah.
Because it's like, you know, did I pick up on someone's energy that I just spent 15 minutes stalking on Instagram? Is this theirs? Is this, you know, and so I feel like the first thing is just don't even go on that seek and destroy mission, because it doesn't actually matter. It doesn't change your experience knowing.
So true.
But the question to ask yourself in that moment is, what do I need right now?
Yeah.
Because sometimes you just got to let those thoughts run.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's like, oh God, it's a bit mad up here. You know what? I'm actually just going to put Netflix on for an hour and completely chill.
Yeah.
And sometimes that could be the worst thing that you can do.
Yeah.
And so I feel like it's about meeting the moment with the moment and really asking yourself, what is it that I really need in this moment? You know? And again, looking to those shock absorbers, like one thing that I do, which is so simple and basic when that happens, is I lie down and put my legs up the wall. And I don't put on music or whatever. I'm not trying to do a breath work. I just lie down and get my legs up the wall, and it works every time. It doesn't completely change everything, but I'll feel a little bit better. Or just those little nervous system regulation things, like just having a really good shake or jumping up and down, or, you know, doing some like kinetic kind of stuff. I think if you're doing something physical, it gets you out of the head because the energy has to move because you're literally moving your body. But I think the first thing to ask yourself is, what do I actually need right now? And how can I serve myself in this moment? Because it's going to look different every time.
And it's almost like that thing when you're trying to remember someone's name or a word, and the harder you try, it gets more and more elusive, and you let go, and then 5 minutes later it pops in. It's like the space again, isn't it? You know, or the letting go, so that it has got room to be able to come to you.
Totally. I think we're so tightly holding on to life right now for our healing, and we're trying to control everything because we're in unprecedented times. And
humanity has never faced this before.
I know, but it's like when we lose control, we try and control what we can, and then the mind just gets so loud. It's just a byproduct of it. And sometimes I think we need to just, like you said, let that white knuckle gripping go and just soften everything. And I was in Ireland earlier this year with the poet David White.
Oh, yummy.
And his work has been so profound for me. And a couple of years ago, because of all of the data that was coming in, and, you know, I'm in the health and wellness industry, and I was just like, getting all this stuff jammed down my throat about how I should eat, how I should look, how I should live my life, how I should meditate, how I should breathe, how I should freaking biohack. And I just had enough. And I was like, I cannot do any more of this. Stop it. Because I think
it's so aggressive. Like the whole biohacking thing is so aggressive.
It's so aggressive.
I appreciate all the things in there, but it's just like it's a very aggressive industry. Like it's,
and just the way it's delivered in this day and age, we've got these 90-second chunks, so people have to come at you because we have no attention anymore. So it's like the whole system is crazy. But a couple of years ago, I made this really conscious effort that I wasn't going to consume anything except art. So I haven't read like a non-fiction book. I read a couple of memoirs, but I haven't read like a self-help book, or I'm very selective about the podcasts I listen to. But in that time, I found poetry again.
Yes.
Nice.
And I read poetry every single morning as soon as I get up. But meeting David was so incredible and in Ireland. And one of the biggest takeaways for me of that trip was like, just let life come to you.
Oh, wow.
You know, just stop chasing, stop trying, just stop grasping, just chill out, take a breath.
Can you say that in an Irish accent?
Chill out, my wee lads.
I love that.
and just let life come to you.
Yeah.
And I realized where I was holding, and I was holding everywhere. And then you look why we hold, it's because we're either scared or we're unsure.
Back to that uncertainty, isn't
I
it?
know. And it's like, well, actually, just because I don't know doesn't mean I'm not safe.
Yeah.
And just chill out and just let life come.
Mm.
And it was so, I tried this experiment where I was just like, I'm not chasing anything. And of course, the universe is like, what do you want? Do you want this? Do you want this? Do you want this? Do you want this? And I'm like, okay, so this works. But I've been trying to do, I'm not saying I'm perfect at it. I can feel when I'm like gripping and I'm like trying to control something. Yeah. But then I'll catch myself and I'll just let myself. But the thing that I noticed in that process of, you know, really, really allowing life to come to me was trust. And that was a little bit of missing. Yeah.
Let go and trust. I don't know why I got it there, because I could never freaking read it. Everybody else has
That's so ironic.
What does that say?
What does that say?
It says let go and trust.
You're like, oh, thanks for the message.
Yeah, exactly.
Sharing it.
Yeah, but that's what I was like, oh, I'm not trusting. That's why I'm white knuckling everything. And so it's actually been this beautiful relationship, and this theme of trust has come back into my life again, because that's where I needed to put that energy.
Beautiful. And poetry creates flow, doesn't it, as well, like that. My niece gave me a book for my birthday, and it starts off with the sun shines, and in poetry we say, and then it's got a page for you to write something.
I love
and it's
that.
like this girl who's in her 20s has created this, and she's inspiring a lot of people to come back into. And I just love that there's that space and the creativity with our words, because again, with life being so fast and the mediums that we have of communication, we're losing our skills with words and what words actually mean, and we're just, you know, WTF and ATM and all this kind of, you know, but it's like, meet me down yonder.
Yeah, exactly. I know. And poetry is something that you really have to be present to receive.
Yeah, I was going to say it holds resonance, doesn't it?
It does.
And vibration and frequency and...
Yeah. Well, one thing David says is one line of poetry can change your whole life.
You feel.
And you just, you're like, that is so profoundly simple and true.
Yeah.
And so that's been a practice for me, is just to read a lot of poetry, and in that I'm just finding out about the coolest people, and it's opening up all these little worlds and portals for me that I couldn't get anywhere else. So it's really exciting, but also it feels like a gift I give to myself if I'm like sitting down and reading poetry. It's just so nurturing, and it speaks to all facets of me. And I think, you know, I always say to people, when you're finding those shock absorbers, make sure they speak to all the parts of you, or the parts of you that really need speaking to. You know, and for me, it's always my busy mind, or the lack of trust in the universe. And poetry really, like, just sitting down, it might not be the words on the page, but just the act of sitting down and receiving something, it gives me both those things.
And it's almost like you said, Joe, the resonancy in there. You can escape into a world, but it's not even an escaping, it's just the nurturing process allows everything to kind of just go into a space. Again, that word space. You know, that allows so much to be.
Totally, because we need time. And I'm finding that with people in this healing space, is it they'll look at one trauma and then another trauma, and they're just kind of digging around in there. I had a guy recently on my last Bali retreat, and he'd heard about me through a couple of people. He wasn't on retreat, and he's like, can I come up and see you? And I was like, what do you need? He's like, oh, well, nothing, but I've just heard you're amazing. And, you know, he's like, I'm not that messed up at the moment. I actually feel pretty good. And I was like, well, I don't think you need to see me. And he was like, well, I do. Like, I've heard, you know, all these things. Yeah. And I said,
it's funny, isn't it? It's like the FOMO.
Yeah, it is. But it is. And I said to him, I was like, look, if we do a session, I'll find something to work with. I'll find some kind of trauma or some kind of blockage or something that no longer serves you and that's ready to be shed. But unless you really have that intention and it's really calling you to do that, I'm not going to waste your time. Yeah. And then he was like, but what if I, you know, pay you double and whatever? I was like, it's not about that anyway. I was like, come up and we'll have a coffee. We had the most amazing conversation.
Fantastic.
And it was just human to human. Yeah. And I honestly believe he probably would have got more from that than a quote unquote healing session. Yeah. Yeah. But because I and myself as well, I'm so selective about who I see. Because before, like in my 20s and 30s, I was like, if someone said, oh, that healer was, oh, great, what's the number? And I'd like hook in. It's like that kinesiology. Yeah. What is it? Where is it? Oh, like I was a junkie for it. Yeah. And I was like, every person that was mentioned to me, I'd go and see them. And now I very rarely will actually go and have a session with someone. Yeah. Not that I'm opposed to it. I do it when it's really necessary and when that call is really there. Yeah. I saw my healer probably about 6 weeks ago, and I hadn't seen her for 3 years. And we had the most phenomenal session, but it was because everything was right. But like you said, that space and that time, we need time to mature and to grow and to have those seeds to gain some spaciousness and momentum and actually even feel into what we actually need and what's relevant. And so much of the stuff just comes out in the wash. It'll just come out naturally. It's like, you know, you have a shower and you just dump all this stuff and you're like, God, I feel better. Yeah. It's like we don't need to go and chase. Yeah. Because it's like, who's chasing?
Is the demon chasing just because it wants to be kept in a job?
Well, no, it's like that true. But there's a lot of them out there. That's the true thing. But I mean, it's that part in us when we're always outsourcing our inner resources for someone else to heal and fix us. Yeah. There's that fine line of spiritual discernment that has to be in play. And it's like, can I do this on my own or do I need some help? And sometimes you need help. You really do. And other times it's like, oh, I can figure this out if I sat down and really let myself go there. Yeah.
And building that muscle, building that.
Yeah.
And what you're saying about that beautiful person seeking you out is like, often that human connection is actually the medicine that's been looked for all along. Exactly. It wasn't actually about a healing session. It was like, I'm feeling a connection to this person. Yeah. I've got to have a session with her. But, you know, you opening the door to just having some time together and allowing that to be the space. Yeah.
And which is so nice.
And not handing your power over. See, a lot of people that just hand their power over to the healer, and not actually like, oh, that doesn't feel right or whatever. Like we had a lady on last week who went on a retreat it was a medium psychic retreat. She actually got a lot out of it. So amazing woman. Yeah. But she was telling us, and it was even a little bit confronting to hear it, but it was great. Where she was saying, no, that's not right to people that were, and someone would say, for instance, I don't think that's for me. No, that is for you. I know it's for you, you know. And she was really certain in her, and and it was like, wow, I love this.
She was trusting herself.
She was trusting herself. Yeah. And she's a quiet person, but it was so powerful. And as she was telling the story, you could feel that the certainty and the level of power in a good way that she was finding in herself.
The clearness and clarity within her was coming through in a way that was just like it wasn't about undoing the other person. It was actually expanding the space because she was gifting them her certainty and allowing them, and then something would shift and they'd go, oh, okay, yeah, I get it. Yeah. And there was dissolving of the blocks or the resistance because she was so clear, which is wonderful. Like,
and I think that's what's happening. Even, a lot of people are finding, as you said, your gift or your healing modality is shifting and changing, and it's coming into something that's, I don't know, more Kate or whatever. That's happening as well with so many people. They're finding their own modality, and it might be something completely brand new. Yeah. Or it might be just a little shift this way of something that's been around forever, but it's that essence of that person that's coming through. It's so beautiful. Yeah, it is beautiful. And I think it's if healers and practitioners and therapists aren't in that curiosity and they're just stuck in their lane, then they can't actually get to as many people as they want to, even if they've got thousands and millions of followers. Because I've seen behind the scenes of a lot of people, and I'm like, you could be so much more. You've got millions of followers now, but you could be so much more. And it's about adapting and shifting and changing and just meeting the needs of what people actually need as well.
Like when Bob Dylan went from a string guitar to electric. Like folk to people weren't happy about that. But it's about, again, trusting your messages and who you can grow into without restricting. I love that you just brought up a Bob Dylan reference. That was so great. Speaking about poetry.
Exactly. I know.
Oh my goodness, we're coming to the end. It's been an hour and gone so quickly.
Wow.
We don't want to miss out.
What else?
I was just going to say to Kate, is there anything else that you're feeling that you'd like to share or put in the space, or anything that we haven't touched on that you wanted to, or is there anything that
what's next for
the
Kate?
World needs to know, or
a book on poetry?
Well, I am writing another book.
Yay.
And I've been writing it for quite some time, and so I'm excited about that. And it's actually how we meet those thresholds of the in-between is what I'm writing about. But I think what people really need to do is to create this space where they get off that treadmill or that little hamster wheel just for a moment and really lean into what's important to them. And they really need to strengthen whatever that is. And so for some people it's going to be their health, and for some people it's going to be their relationships, and for some people it's going to be their connection to themselves or their connection to God or whatever it is. But if we don't have a sense of what that is, we're just going to get caught in the slipstream, and then we'll just be traveling down, and then we'll wake up and be like, what just happened to those last 20 years? And it's just these micro moments. I always say to people, just give yourself 5 minutes a day and just create this, like, how am I going? How's everything going? Am I checking in? How's everything, good? One of the ways that I've been teaching this last year is I created this group called Momentum. And because I'm extremely busy, even though I don't want to glorify that, the reality of my life, working across 3 continents with 3 small children, is I am busy. And I don't have time to sit and listen to an hour podcast during the day, or watch a webinar, or go and get into some kind of training or healing. What I need is these little 15-minute micro moments where I can really tap into source, but constantly. And so I created this space where for a month I hold this group, and every second day they just get a little audio recording from me, and it's a teaching that comes through, or it might be a meditation, or it might be an energetic process to do, but none of them are longer than 15 minutes.
Fantastic.
Just so that we're constantly in that beautiful space of transformation and healing, but we're not completely bombarded by it, and it doesn't feel so overwhelming or so unattainable. And so the other thing is, and I always say to people, the biggest problem that I see is that everyone overcomplicates everything. You know, we could be on TikTok trying to find the perfect recipe as a perimenopausal woman, but really, and you could spend 4 hours and still, like, I don't know how to feed myself. I don't know what to eat. Or maybe you could just sit outside in the sun for 10 minutes and just be like, you know what? I just need to sit down. Like, I actually just need to sit down. That's what I need, you know.
And then all of a sudden something will come to you that you're like, oh, okay, I feel like that.
I know, but it's like, you know, we overlook these basic fundamentals of health, like breath and sunshine and sleep and hydration. And if people aren't doing those basic fundamentals, they're not going to get to where they want to go because their building blocks aren't strong. So if anyone's listening and you're making everything very complicated about your spiritual practice and your emotional body and your mental body and blah, 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 it's just like, just keep it really, really, really simple. The simplest answer is always the best answer. And then it all just comes from there. And just don't buy into the whole, you need this, you have to do this, you've got to buy this, you've got to wear this, you've got to taste this, you've got to eat this, because it is a scam.
It's a system of...
It's patriarchy and consumerism and capitalism, and it's not going to give you essentially what you need. So sometimes we've just got to unplug to, like, really plug back in. It needs, the simpler the better.
I agree. It's funny because it's on the board at front of the church. It's a little church you'll drive past on the way out, and they have a chalkboard out the front, and he does she, I don't know who it is, a little saying. God. Jesus.
God, it's chalk.
Baby Jesus.
This week's is create a simpler life so people can simply live, so others can simply live. It's a Mother Teresa quote, actually. And it's like, oh, thank you. I love Mother Teresa. I've loved her for years. I've always had this affinity. Like, I remember as a little girl, I used to be obsessed with her, kind of. I have so many books in my bookcase about Mother Teresa. Every time I'm in an op shop and there's a Mother Teresa book. And Pat's like, oh, exactly what we need, another Mother Teresa book.
We got this one.
I know. But one of the things that I read years ago, before I even had children, that she said was like, just concentrate on the 4 walls of your own house. That's how you change the world. And I was like, oh, I love that so much, because it's simple, right? It's like, just do the best you can. Just do the best you can. And so I think, because I'll get to people and they're like, I've been on this diet for like 17 months and I'm intermittent fasting and I'm biohacking and I haven't sleeping and I'm up at 3 o'clock, and I'm just like, whoa. Let's just take a breath. And their intention, they're trying to take care of themselves, but they're not listening to their own internal wisdom. And that we've just got to make that voice be heard in ourselves, whatever that means for us, you know.
Great advice.
Allow that to be a louder voice and not, you know,
or just calm the noise so we can actually hear it. Well, it can become a louder
voice. It's like a muscle, isn't it? When we listen to it more, we start to trust more, and then that voice becomes louder, and then we become, you know, more, oh, okay, that's what you're trying to tell me.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you, Kate.
Thank you, Kate.
Thanks for having me.
Oh my goodness, I feel like that was amazing.
We won't be waiting 3 years for the next
one.
We'll be like, the book will be out soon.
Hopefully.
So
hopefully.
Epic. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
She comes in my dreams.
Thank you for listening to our Girl Awakening podcast. We are also on YouTube as Girl Awakening. We'd love to see you there with comments on how our guests resonated with you or your own awakening. Please share the love with a like and subscribe while you're there. A blissful thank you to Ksenia Luki, the amazing artist behind our theme song. We will see you next week. Bye.
Bye.